Everyone, and welcome to this week's Creative Natter. Today, I wanted to talk about something that affects every single one of us, and no matter how long we've been drawing. It's something that I hear from beginners, experienced artists, and basically everyone in between. So, today, I wanted to talk about how we can stay motivated when life gets busy and how we can keep creativity alive, even on those days when it feels like you just don't have a minute to yourself. Now, life is a way of filling up quickly, whether that be through work or family, appointments, caring for loved ones, chores, or just those unexpected events that always seem to happen. Even the most well planned week can suddenly feel overwhelming. And I know that feeling really, really well. Now, there are times when everything hits us at once and you just find yourself exhausted before the day's even begun. And during those times, motivation can just feel 1,000 miles away. You want to draw, but your energy's low. You want to create, but your head is full. And you want that sense of calm, but you just cannot seem to get started. So I know a lot of you struggle with this, and I wanted to help you draw a sort of build a drawing habit. You want to feel that sense of progress and enjoyment, but between all your responsibilities and being tired, it can just be hard to stay consistent. Now, I want to reassure you that this does not mean that you're failing. It just means that you're human. And with the right approach, you can keep creativity in your life even during the busiest seasons. Now, one of the first things to understand is that motivation is not constant. It comes, it goes, it rises and it falls. It can be influenced by our sleep, our stress levels, our health, our emotions, and everything happening round about us. So, expecting yourself to feel motivated all the time just sets you up for disappointment. So, instead of relying on motivation, it helps to build small creative routines that carry you through the low moments. A helpful place to start is by lowering the pressure. Busy days make creativity feel like it's just another task. And when drawing becomes something that you feel you should do rather than something you enjoy doing, it loses that quality that keeps you coming back. Now, a simple shift in your mindset can make all the difference. So instead of thinking, I must draw today, tell yourself, I want to give myself just a small creative moment if I can. Now, that change in wording just removes that pressure and it brings the focus back to the enjoyment of drawing. Now, another way to stay motivated when life gets really busy is to reduce the size of your sessions. Now, many people assume that they need a long block of time to draw. They wait for that perfect evening or a quiet weekend. But those perfect moments rarely appear on their own. So instead of aiming for big sessions, allow yourself tiny ones. 5 minutes is enough. 10 minutes is enough. You know, a quick sketch is enough. And these small sessions help you stay connected to your creativity without overwhelming your schedule. Now, some of my most enjoyable drawing moments happens on those days when I've only had a short window of time and I've sat down, I've maybe spent 10 minutes and I feel better almost immediately. And it reminds you that creativity does not need to be a big commitment to be meaningful. You do not need hours, you only need a moment. And that moment can carry you through a busy day with a much calmer mind. Now, preparing your space can also help you stay motivated. So, when life gets busy, the biggest barrier to drawing is often the setup. If your supplies are scattered around the house or packed away in drawers, the effort to gather them all up and that can sometimes stop you from starting. But having a simple, ready to go space can make a huge difference. And it doesn't need to be a full studio, a small corner of the table, a little tray with all your materials on it, or a little basket you can move around. And when everything's ready, you remove that friction of getting started. Now, another powerful tool for motivation is choosing subjects that feel comforting and enjoyable. Busy seasons are not the time to challenge yourself with difficult references. Give yourself something simple. If you want to draw your pets, then maybe just start with an eye, or try to choose subjects that lift your mood rather than drain your energy. When you look forward to the subject, you feel more motivated to pick up your pencils. And it also helps to remember why you started drawing in the first place. Many people turn to creativity for calm, enjoyment, connection, or just some personal time. And when life becomes hectic, those reasons matter even more. You're not drawing to produce a perfect piece, you're drawing to support your well being. You're drawing to feel grounded. You're drawing to give yourself some care. And keeping these reasons in mind helps you stay connected to your creativity even when your motivation does dip. Now, another thing that helps is creating small rituals around your drawing time. And rituals can cue your mind that it's time to slow down. You know, Make a cup of tea, put on some quiet music, sit on your favorite chair, light a candle. It's these gentle routines that can make your creative time feel special rather than rushed. And they help you transition from that sort of really busy mindset into a calmer one. Now, I also want to talk about the importance of self kindness when life gets busy. Many people feel guilty when they miss a drawing session or they feel like they're falling behind or losing progress. But creativity is not a race, it's not a job, it's a personal practice. Busyness does not mean you've failed, it simply means that you're living your life. And when you remove that guilt, you create a healthier, more sustainable relationship with your art. And you make creativity something that you return to with joy instead of pressure. Now, another helpful approach is learning to start before you feel ready. Sometimes the hardest part of drawing is simply beginning. Your brain tells you that you're too tired or you're too busy. But once you start, even if it's just for a few minutes, you often find that your motivation follows. A gentle start can pull you into that moment more easily than waiting for motivation to appear on its own. Now, another thing I want you to remember is that it's okay for your creative rhythm to change. Different seasons of life require different approaches. Some months you may draw more, some months you may draw less. And this ebb and flow is natural. Allow it to happen, support it, adapt to it. Creativity needs to be flexible. It can fit into your life in many ways. You're not losing momentum when your rhythm changes. You're simply moving with what, life is throwing at you. Now, if you're watching this and you're feeling guilty about not drawing as much as you'd hoped, I want you to know that there's no judgment. There is no rule book. There is no perfect schedule. This is only your life, your energy, and your needs. And you can start again at any point. You can shift your routine, you can create a new rhythm that suits you. Creativity will always welcome you back. I want to encourage you to celebrate the small moments. Like I said, a 5-minute sketch, a tiny burst of inspiration, a quiet moment at your table, a relaxed evening with some pencils in your hands. It's these small victories that matter, and they do add up, and they keep your creative spark alive even during those busiest weeks. So I wanted to say thank you for spending this time with me. If you enjoyed this natter, please feel free to give me a like and a subscribe so you don't miss any of my future videos. And if you want more support as you learn, you're always welcome inside the Whiskers to Wildlife Academy, where I help beginners learn how to draw the animals they love. Just scan the QR code above if you want more info. So until next time, take care and happy drawing.